tell you a couple of guys with a big investment in their machines. That's 52, Butch Miller. And he's closing in on 84, Bob Zinnerman. We got one into the wall. Rick Crawford, big time this time.
Rick Crawford out of Mobile, Alabama, up against the fence in turn number 2. Apparently the race car is going to try to get it back underway, but he's got a flat left front tire for sure, and a whole bunch else wrong with that car as well. No way he's going to get underway.
And here in replay we can see, he hit the wall a pretty good blow. Of course, these fiberglass bodies kind of exaggerate that appearance as they flail away where the metal just kind of bends, but he got a pretty good wrap.
He got out of control as he came off turn number 1 and just slid up against the fence. And that obviously is going to bring out the caution and bring Junior Hanley back into the pits. A mob scene now in the pits, Steve Evans. Everybody coming in.
Well, you just can't let them come in and get fresh rubber and you not do that. You just can't, even though you think, I'll stay out here. My tires aren't that bad. I got plenty of fuel, and I'll get the lead, or I'll move up 10 positions. It's going to bite you later.
Well, remember, we saw 70 tires stacked up in Butch Miller's pit, and they may very well use them all. As Junior Hanley has yet another relatively slow stop. Dick Trickle there, and Bob Seneker. There's Butch Miller. Everybody got back on the track. That is crew chief for Ted Musgrave, Vic Getzloff. Remember, he was Dick Trickle's crew chief for many, many years, conferring with his man, trying to figure out what the best strategy is from here on in.
And you know, a fellow who had a good strategy but just has had some bad breaks is Harold Fair. Harold is a lap down, and Brock's going to try to talk to him on the radio.
Harold, this is Brock Yates, Diamond B. You copy? Yeah, I got you, Brock. I think you got some problems out there. Is that right? Right now you're a lap down. Can you get it back? Well, Brock, we're having some problems with tires. We got to get the stagger right here. We had a little push in the beginning, and then we went the other way and really got the car really loose, and it got out to lunch. So we're working feverishly in the pits, and we're going to see if we can't get it back. Okay, my friend. We hope you get another ladder to get yellow to get that work done. I hope so too, Brock.
Yes, indeed, Harold Fair wouldn't mind seeing another couple of yellows. Ted Musgrave, however, is the new leader. Good racing and good pit work that put him up front of the TNN All American 400. Stay with us. The best may be yet to come.
Back in Nashville and under caution. Actually, while we were away, we had a very brief flurry when we had a restart under green, but as soon as the flag fell, this happened. That is Claude Leclerc in the number 11 off of turn number 2 down into the back straight and up against the infield fence quite hard. Claude out of the race, and once again the yellow back out. Steve Evans.
Well, that'll be bad news to the fans of one of Canada's most popular race car drivers ever, from the province of Quebec, the French-Canadian Claude Leclerc. He is out of it. Ted Musgrave is on the point, number 88, followed by number 8, David Green. He's just always there. Then Seneker, Junior Hanley coming back. Rick Corelli is hanging in there steady. Tim Steele, Gary St. Amant, Russ Erland, Jody Ridley, and Scott Hansen. That's the top 10, with the green about to come out.
So Musgrave, who's come out of the middle of the pack to lead it here, brings him off turn number 4 to take the green. We're back racing again. And that is Musgrave down into turn number 1, the number 8 car, and David Green right behind him. We've got a couple of lap cars up in there, the 46 of Bill Zardo and Tom Harrington in the 91, but they'll get out of the way and let Green and Musgrave duke it out for the lead here in Nashville.
Number 8, David Green. What an incredible job he has done. He's 32 years old, from Owensboro, Kentucky. He builds race cars for a living, but next season hopes to be a paid driver exclusively, and with this kind of talent, he may well be. He has now taken the lead away from Ted Musgrave.
Steve, I'll tell you another kid that came from Owensboro, Kentucky, and made a legend here at Nashville. The name, Darrell Waltrip. So, if he follows in the footsteps of that man, who's to know how high David Green will go in this sport?
And here's the race for third. 84, Bob Seneker, 72. Junior Hanley trying to come back from some pit problems. And Rick Corelli, number 6 from Denver, who has just driven a very nice, steady race, has had good, competent pit work, and is right there in the hunt in the 5th position. Junior Hanley remains in 4th, however, the 72 car, with Rick Corelli, number 6, and Tim Steele, number 85, just behind him. The 2nd position belongs to Ted Musgrave. He is right behind number 8, David Green. Musgrave, followed by Seneca in the 3rd position. Seneca right now moving up on the 88 car, and it is Seneca taking over the 2nd spot from Ted Musgrave. Quickly, let's again visit the garage area where Brock has found Claude Leclerc.
Claude, bad luck. What happened?
I think the wrong stagger and the car came loose and very loose.
We're sorry you're out. You always give us a good show. Come back again next year.
Okay. If the car will be repaired for next year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I think that all meant that the tires on the right were a little too much bigger than the tires on the left. If I understand stagger properly, that's what happened to the French Canadian. And look at the competition, Brock Gage.
72, Junior Hanley continues his charge toward the front. Right behind him, Corelli down low with that two-tone blue automobile, the 88. That's Musgrave. What a mob scene as they head down into turn number 3.
The 6th place car in there is number 85, Tim Steele. And this may be hard for Harold Fair fans to accept, but the 81 car in there is a lap down.
So they're going to try to work their way around the 71 car of John Wilson as he falls back a little bit farther. And there is the 72 car being challenged by Corelli. Junior Hanley being challenged down low by Corelli. Rick Corelli is going to get around Junior Hanley at least briefly until that big power comes into play down the front straight.
And the 88 car has fallen back while all this is going on. Musgrave does not right now have the handle on the racetrack. Let's go to Paul with 88's crew chief.
Big Ted's been dropping back pretty steadily now. What is he saying to you? What's the plan?
Well, the tires are getting worn pretty good. We're just going to try to stay on the lead lap.
Just hope for another caution and bring him back in. All right, good luck.
Well, Brock, I don't believe that Musgrave is the only driver out there right now hoping for another caution.
No question about it, Steve. Everybody is having problems picking the right stagger. In fact, Dick Trickle in the 99 has fallen a lap back, as has Harold Fair. So a couple of the really strong front runners having problems with tire choice here today.
And one of the prime races out there now, as we said, they'd be in the middle of the pack. First 6 is 72, Junior Hanley, 98, Jody Ridley in the Thunderbird, and Butch Miller in the 52 Chevrolet Illumina. But it's 98 asserting himself, Jody Ridley, challenging Junior Hanley, the 72 car, and he has got him. But Butch Miller, the 52 machine, the red car, he is closing on 98 Jody Ridley as well. So 52 Miller and Ridley both get around Junior Hanley, and now it's Butch Miller and 52 closing in on that Thunderbird. Remember the two of them in one of the qualifying races last weekend went lap after lap, virtually side by side. The biggest concern right now, obviously, is the rubber on these cars, particularly the rubber on the outside, the right side that takes more of a beating on a high-banked racetrack. And this means the crews are going to make a lot of tire changes. And there's really 2 different wheel setups they have to deal with, Brock reports.
Steve, I'm in Jody Ridley's bed, and as you'll notice, his wheel setup is just a little bit different than some of the other guys running. This is what's called a wide 5 bolt pattern. You notice the bolts are on the outside of the rim as opposed to being on the inside like a conventional stock wheel. Now, some of the guys use this because they think the wheel's a little bit lighter, and it may very well be, and it's ideally suited for short track racing where you don't have to make pit stops. And some of the other people say that it's kind of a disadvantage when you're trying to do really quick wheel changes. But Ridley's crew has been doing a fantastic job all day long. Even with this slight handicap, their pit stops have been just about as quick as anybody's.
And they're plenty quick at the racetrack right now. Tim Steele on the inside, the red 85 car. Jody Ridley in the Thunderbird, and here comes Butch Miller alongside Steele, drafting right in behind the Thunderbird. This is the race for 3rd. Jody Ridley's got 3rd right now.
Boy, he is trying to make up for that time he lost with the brake problems earlier in the go. So there's Butch Miller. 3 guys that ought to be up among the leaders as we move into the more serious stages of this race. Stay with us.
The driver of the 88 car got exactly what he needed. That was a yellow flag. Then he really got what he needed. A dream pit stop from his crew. They took on fuel and right side rubber in 12.5 seconds. That put him back into the lead. Good work, Vic and crew.
Well, a lot of people thought that Ted Musgrave was going to be a factor in this race, and certainly after kind of a middling start, he's worked his way up front, and that pit work by Vic Getzlaff and his crew was just a capping on a terrific day so far for Ted Musgrave.
Well, back under green flag racing with Musgrave up front, followed by Jody Ridley, 98, 84 Seneca, Junior Hanley, 72, Scott Hansen, 53. He's going to get a tremendous amount of pressure. 6th through 10th, well, that looks like this. It is Gary St. Amant, just always there in that 7 car. Neal, Steele, Miller, and Green.
Well, the big surprise, of course, is Miller, way back there in 9th place, and it's just been purely pit work and tire problems that held him up, as has interfered, of course, with the progress of 99 Dick Trickle. So this race is still up for grabs.
And this is the race for 6th position. Gary St. Amant, the number 7 car, is in 6th. Just behind him is Jeff Neal in that 5 car. Then Steele and 52 Butch Miller.
We know in the last stop, Miller was having enough trouble on the pits, so they tried to use a couple of jacks. ASA rules only permit 1 jack, and the official stepped in and said, no, can't do that.
Well, it takes a pair of jacks or better to play. That's what I always thought, Brock. Apparently so did Butch.
Well, don't ask Butch Miller about that right now.
No, he's still a little bit hot. All right, Tim Steele and Butch Miller, they are both getting by. They have gotten by number 7, Gary St. Amant.
So St. Amant falls back a little bit as this mob scene here at Nashville continues unabated. They just, a whole bunch of cars trying to struggle through the field. No trouble. St. Amant whacks the wall up in turn number 3.
I don't think he got into the wall too hard, Brock. Boy, it sure looked for a moment like he did, but there doesn't appear to be that much damage to the number 7 car. But boy, that was scary.
Still though, Steve, the yellow flag will fly. They'll check the racetrack for debris. He's bent up the right rear a little bit, but as you say, I don't think the car is hurt all that much. But we are under caution, and we'll surely see some pit stops. Surely, absolutely, this car number 7, as we watch that, yeah, you're absolutely right. He may have nicked the wall in the initial impact, but probably not, although you can see just a little bit of bent bodywork right behind the right rear tire.
That might have happened earlier in the race, made contact with another car, but I don't think he really got any of the white off the wall on this one. But, well, I'll tell you, that turn 3, it has decided so many races and so many drivers' destiny here at Nashville.
As the St. Amant crew gets ready for their man to stop, here is Vic Getzlaff and company going to work on Ted Musgrave's automobile. Jody Ridley in as well. They're going to make a tire change there as the man who caused the yellow comes in, Gary St. Amant. Let's go to Paul.
And here's Gary St. Amant coming in under the yellow that he caused with his own spin up between 3 and 4. As they change left side rubber here, Bud St. Amant had a little bit of trouble talking Gary back into the pits, but after 2 laps running into the yellow, he finally answered the call and rolls away. The car seems none the worse for wear.
But the tire certainly is the worse for wear, and there you can see all of the gravel. It's actually material off of the racetrack, this old porous surface that is embedding itself right into the rubber on that tire. But Gary St. Amant, who started 16th in that 7th car, is back out on the racetrack. Paul is still in his pit with his father, Bud. Paul?
Well, Bud, from an 8th row start, you've been running pretty good in the top 5 most of the day. What'd you do, cut a tire down there?
Yeah, we had a left rear flat on us.
Well, that's terrible luck for as good as he's been doing. What have you been reporting?
Well, he said the car had been feeling real good. It just got a little bit loose that last time because we had a left rear tire going down.
And good fortune, it didn't look like the car caught the wall at all.
Just barely. I don't think we heard anything.
Just a touch, looking good. Have a good day. Gary St. Amant keeps on the track.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Right now, Brock has on his radio the driver of car number 84, Bob Seneca, and that's very appropriate because Seneca is now the leader. He didn't pit.
Bob, we just spotted Musgrave come in and take left side tires. Is that going to affect your strategies as far as not stopping?
No, but we're going to have to make another stop here before it's over. Sometimes getting out of sync here is trouble. Sometimes it's an advantage. We'll just have to wait and see what happens here.
Okay, Roger. Thanks.
We will indeed have to wait and see what happens. But right now, the crew of Gary St. Amant, they are bringing him back in, and they are going to now go for right side rubber on that car. Remember, Brock explained before, under yellow, you can only change 2 tires at a time. They needed to change the left rear due to a problem, a cut tire, and that spin. Now they've got the right side. They could be in pretty good shape, Brock.
Well, it's a lucky break for him that the yellow stayed out so long, considering that his car was the one that caused it to begin with. That is Vic Getzlaff once again, Ted Musgrave's crew chief, conferring. They've been conferring all afternoon, but it's worked so far. They got their man up near the front. We'll be back with more at Nashville.